Confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the last 24 hours is 26,354 with 63 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 173 additional cases were reported with 1 new death. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, January 24th. LA County health officials continue to urge the public to avoid non-essential gatherings as coronavirus transmission remains at one of the highest levels ever seen since the pandemic began 2 years ago. California has been averaging more than 100,000 new COVID-19 cases a day, more than 2 times the number of average daily cases compared to last winter's surge. LA County continues to see high transmission rates as well, with more than 250,000 confirmed cases over the past 7 days and 16% test positivity. Both figures slightly down from the week before, but still high enough to concern officials. On Friday, LA County's daily death count passed 100. Officials expressed hope that the state's latest surge may finally be plateauing and in some areas starting to decline. But LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says it's still wise to postpone non-essential activities where people are unmasked and in close contact with others, such as dinners and parties. Dr. Ferrer and others at the LA County Public Health Department will host another COVID-19 virtual town hall. The next one takes place this Wednesday, January 26th at 6 p.m. They will discuss the latest information about the Omicron variant, booster shots, and keeping schools safe. The public is welcome to ask questions as well. Just submit them at tinyurl.com/townhall4LAC. The meeting will be streamed live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at LA Public Health. Free N95 masks from the Biden administration are starting to arrive at pharmacies across the U.S. They're already set up for distribution at some grocery stores in the Midwest, and more are expected to be ready at other locations later this week. The White House announced last week that 400 million N95s, which are coming from the Strategic National Stockpile, will be distributed to pharmacies and community health centers. The program is expected to be fully up and running by early February. The masks are arriving at their destinations with flyers and signs from the Department of Health and Human Services, which paid for the masks. Up to 3 free masks are available to every person in the U.S. CVS pharmacies expect to receive the masks and begin distributing them in the coming weeks as supplies come in. Walgreens anticipates its shipments at some locations as early as this Friday. Participating stores will have signs indicating mask availability. And officials say masks will also be made available at all participating health centers by mid-February, with some starting to arrive this week. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says masking is a critical public health tool to prevent the spread of COVID-19, and any mask is better than no mask. 4 California healthcare organizations are getting a total of $8.7 million in federal funding to fight burnout and promote mental health among employees. The Health Resources and Services Administration awarded Children's Hospital Los Angeles, Samuel Merritt University in Oakland, Touro University in Vallejo, and the San Ysidro Health System in the San Diego area with grants, which will be distributed over 3 years. Children's Hospital will receive more than $2.1 million. The money is part of more than $100 million that will be distributed to 45 organizations across the country. It's funded by the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, which President Joe Biden passed last year. The grants are meant to fund programs and training for healthcare providers to cope with stress and, quote, build resiliency, with special consideration given to those in underserved and rural communities. Officials with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services say COVID-19 has compounded rates of anxiety and depression among healthcare workers, and the relentless physical and emotional demands of treating patients during a pandemic have exacerbated long-standing barriers to workplace well-being. 3 CDC studies offer more evidence that COVID-19 booster shots work against the Omicron variant. They are the first large-scale studies in the U.S. to look at vaccine protection against the new strain. The research findings echo previous studies in Germany, South Africa, and the United Kingdom, indicating that while the current vaccines are less effective against Omicron than earlier versions of the coronavirus, boosters significantly improve protection. One study looked at hospitalizations and emergency room and urgent care center visits in 10 states from August to this month. It found that vaccine effectiveness was best after 3 doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines in preventing COVID-19 related visits. Protection dropped from 94% during the Delta wave to 82% during the Omicron wave. Protection from just 2 doses was lower, especially after 6 months. Another study focused on COVID-19 case and death rates in 25 states from the beginning of April through Christmas. People who got the booster shots had the highest protection against COVID-19 infection, both during the Delta and Omicron surges. Those 2 studies were published online by the CDC. Now, a third study, also led by CDC researchers, but published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, looked at people who tested positive for COVID-19 from December 10th through January 1st at more than 4,600 testing sites nationwide. They found that 3 shots of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines were about 67% effective against Omicron-related symptomatic disease, compared with unvaccinated people, while 2 doses offered no significant protection against the Omicron variant. Researchers say their studies show the importance of getting a booster shot. The University of Southern California welcomed students back to campus today. USC began its spring semester remotely on January 10th due to the latest COVID-19 surge. All eligible faculty, students, and staff members are required to get the COVID-19 booster shots, and everyone on campus is required to wear an upgraded medical-grade face covering instead of a cloth mask. University officials say some campus services will be a bit slower than usual due to personnel shortages or other COVID-related modifications. USC will also hold an in-person new student convocation tomorrow at Bovard Auditorium with masking and social distancing in place. UCLA will also resume in-person instruction this month. The first day back on campus will be January 31st. Well, as we enter the last full week of January, or National Blood Donor Month, the American Red Cross is hoping more people will donate blood and platelets as California faces its first severe shortage in nearly a decade. State officials say the only way to help is for the public to roll up their sleeves and give. The American Red Cross declared its first ever national blood crisis in the U.S. this month, saying they are in dire need of all blood types, especially types O positive and O negative, as well as platelets. The Red Cross supplies 40% of the nation's blood supply and had to limit blood distribution to hospitals in recent weeks. The organization saw a 10% drop in blood donations since the start of the pandemic. The Red Cross is teaming up with the NFL, actually, and offering a chance to win tickets to the Super Bowl, hoping it will entice more people to donate. To find the nearest location, go to redcrossblood.org. Well, today marks the beginning of tax filing season. It comes 17 days earlier than last year due to the resurgence of COVID-19 infections and less funding authorization from Congress than requested by the Biden administration. The Internal Revenue Service Commissioner, Chuck Rettig, says avoiding a paper tax return will be more important than ever this year to avoid processing delays. He urges taxpayers to file their returns electronically and to get their refunds by direct deposit. He also warns taxpayers who got a COVID-19 relief economic impact payment last year or who received an advanced child tax credit payment to make sure they report the correct amount on their tax returns to avoid processing delays. The deadline for tax returns to be filed this year is Monday, April 18th. The California Department of Water Resources plans to give water districts 15% of what they've requested for 2022. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but it's actually up from 0% of the water requested last year for necessities such as bathing and drinking. It was the first time ever the state issued an initial water allocation of nothing. This year's commitment of 15% is all thanks to a very wet December. Last month's winter storms led the state officials to announce they'll release more water than initially planned from state storage. The water will be sent to local agencies that provide the much-needed resource to 27 million people and lots of farmland. While the December storms helped to partially refill parched reservoirs and provide some relief from a dry year, officials stress that California's drought is still far from over and urge people to continue conserving water as much of the state remains in severe drought. Well, now is a great time to bring home a furry best friend as animal shelters throughout LA County reduce their adoption fees. The LA County Department of Animal Care and Control launched a new campaign called Live Large, Adopt a Big Dog through January 31st. The department is teaming up with Best Friends Animal Society in an effort to increase adoptions of the larger breeds, as they make up a disproportionate amount of animals killed in California's animal shelters. The temporary fee to adopt a large dog from the county shelters is $22 and includes microchipping, spaying or neutering, and vaccinations. A large dog weighs at least 35 pounds. Families interested in adopting will receive free food, supplies, and medical treatment as well. Organizers hope to get 500 or more large dogs into homes by the end of the month. For more information, go to animalcare.lacounty.gov. Well, before we go at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. There's just a few days left to submit a hometown hero you want to thank through the city's Military Banner Recognition Program. It's a special opportunity to honor those who are currently serving in the armed forces, who have served in the past, or are veterans of the past who have since passed away. The 2022 applications are available online or at City Hall until Thursday, January 27th. You can contact the city manager's office with questions about the program. What a thoughtful way to show how Torrance truly cares. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo or video you would like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov We would love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Rhiannon Chutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.